Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Raider Sports. This is a big one because we're doing what we do best here, and that is talking about conference realignment. And we got a bombshell for you today that we have a list. We have the quote working list, and it is the exact list that they came out that they worked with when it came to 2016, and that is for legal purposes because they already have the applicants, they already have the applications in. They don't have to go back through that. And so since conference realignment has this little get up when it comes to realigning the conferences, that the Big 12 just can't go up to, say, Cincinnati and say, hey, we want you to join. That would be something called tortious interference, which is pretty much when a party, the Big 12, would then go to a second party, which would be Cincinnati, and say, hey, we want you in, come on over here, and it would interfere with their business with the American, which is pretty much what Bob Bowlesby and the Big 12 is saying ESPN did with Texas and Oklahoma getting them to the SEC. ESPN interfered with Texas and Oklahoma and the Big 12's relationship, and that's what the lawsuit is implying. So in order to avoid that, they figure since these teams have already filed for applications, they've already taken it upon themselves to say that they would be interested in leaving their conference to join ours. It's not interference because they came to us in 2016. So on that legal CYA, we have the working list of applicants. And they are BYU, which we already did a video on, who was considered a finalist in 2016, but just didn't get in because they didn't expand. UCF, we did a video on. Also, Cincinnati, Colorado State, UConn, which really surprised me. Houston, we already knew. We already touched on that in other videos about the Tillman Fertitta incident and why he was so vocal, and that some Big 12 schools might be hesitant to work with Houston on realigning just because of old grudges. Rice was another one in 2016 who was on the finals list, actually. So, and I don't know exactly what city Rice is in off the top of my head, but it seems like if you look at these in 2016, we were getting a theme, and the theme seems to be that they were shopping for big markets, because the next one is South Florida, SMU, Temple, Tulane, and Air Force. Those were the ones who were the finalists. Those are all the finalists. And then the other teams who applied who didn't really get taken into much consideration was UNLV, San Diego State. And amazingly, Boise State was like immediately, out of the running. But times are changing. You're not looking for markets anymore. Now you're looking for names, kind of a cult following, if you will. Arkansas State also applied in 2016, as well as Eastern Carolina, Memphis, New Mexico, and Northern Illinois Huskies all didn't make the final cut, as nobody actually did, but they didn't get selected on the next round of selections, if you will. So there you have it. There's the list. From the 2016 Big Market Hunt, you have BYU, who obviously they have the Mormon population, big fan base, great viewership. We've talked about that in another video. UCF, which is in Orlando, Cincinnati, which is obviously in Cincinnati market, Colorado State, which is in Denver, UConn, I guess you're looking at maybe trying to grab hold of that Boston market. Houston, you had Houston, is obviously in Houston. Rice, I'm not sure what city they're in, as I said. But you have South Florida, who's in Tampa, SMU, which is Dallas-Fort Worth, Temple, who's in Philly, Tulane, who is in New Orleans, And then Air Force Military Academy. So a lot of people will watch that just because they're, military, patriotic, right? Air Force is a branch of the military and it's in its own little world there. So yeah. Then you had UNLV, San Diego State, Boise, Arkansas State, ECU, Memphis, New Mexico, and Northern Illinois, just to round it out once more. And according to the Oklahoman that I read, the early favorites for 2021, so that favorites list has changed. It's now BYU, UCF, Cincinnati, Houston, Boise State, SMU, and Memphis.